another video. And today I thought I'd talk about stick shifts. And the reason I want to bring it up is because I feel like there's not enough people that want to drive a stick shift. But I think it's a good thing to go ahead and try it out. It's something that I grew up doing, and it's something that I don't regret doing. It's something that my wife learned how to do, which she didn't really want to, but she did. And I think she was really happy with the results, only because her first car happened to be a stick shift, which was mine as well. My dad taught me how to drive a stick shift, and I believe her dad also taught her how to drive a stick shift. It was something that they really wanted to instill into us, and I really feel proud of that, because if I wanted to, I could go and drive like a Mercedes or, one of the sports cars that are out there. And I think I would really enjoy doing that, only because I think driving like 100 miles down an hour, down the road, doing the stick shifts, feeling that gear change, that would be fantastic. Just hearing the hum of the engine and then the gear switch. Over time, I kind of learned to respect that, because it's a beautiful noise when done correctly. Otherwise, you have a whole bunch of scratching and ugly sounds and jerks and stops, but when it's done correctly, it's beautiful. It helps you also respect the car a little bit better. Now that I have an automatic, I do have the option to drive a stick. They have a little control panel on there that you could go ahead and do that. But now that I have the automatic, it can do it on its own, and I don't have to worry about that. And then the gear change in that, you hear the gear changes and you can tell when there's something wrong, or how fluid it is, or if you need to top it up, or whatever the case may be with like oil or what's that called? Transmission fluid. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to drive stick shift for multiple reasons. I can understand, why. But because, you learn that it's just something that you're not afraid to do, or, you can take your woman or a friend out for drives. When I had my first car, I used to drive around with friends, just kind of using the stick, and they would be kind of amazed. I mean, they would always make the stupid jokes. I'm not going to learn that. It's dumb. I'm not going to waste on something that, I don't have to. I'll just get an automatic car. But if there's no automatic cars available, and those are pretty low in price, then, the way I learned how to drive a stick shift was with my dad. And I remember taking lots of trips to drive my car. And the first trip that we did together was terrible. I would start going and then start going, and it was awful. But after doing it over and over and over again, it became easier. And the way my dad, he would teach me is you would go until you hear that noise, and then at the high tone, you would switch the gear. But he kind of generalized it. At 15, 25, 35, you just change the gear. Which is not completely true, because you can hear it whenever you need to change the gears. My little Mazda 323 was an amazing little hatchback. And I say that because it was like a death car. I drove it There was a lot of parts that were kind of out of commission. It was very cold. There was no heater. There was no anything that you could really use in there. And on top of that, I was really bad with the battery. Really, really bad with the battery, because I would leave my lights on and then my dad would have to drive out and like start up the car, or I'd have to go inside and then have somebody else come out to to start up the car. I'd do that maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and I did that for like a full year. My dad hated it, and he would remind me every single time that I need to take care of that. Like, I need to watch out for the lights. So the way my dad used to remind me about turning on the car and like checking on the lights, he would always tell me every single time to click the light just to make sure it was off. And I would do that every once in a while. But the point when I actually learned to turn the lights off was dying at work 3 times a week in the same year, and having to go and ask people for help. That was the most humiliating, sad feeling in the world. You know, walking around, can you jump my car? Can you jump my car? Go back into the store and be like, can you jump my car? And people were like, no, I don't got time. You need to find somebody else. Or occasionally I would have a couple of people that would say, I'll help you out in about 30 minutes. I got to know a couple people that I'm surprised, I got to know. There was a lot of times when, I almost crashed, and there was a lot of experiences that I'm not mad about having. I really enjoyed learning and keeping those stories in the back of my mind. It was fun. My Mazda 323 was my first car given to me by my uncle. He asked if I needed a car to my dad. My dad responded with a yes. He said, "Are you sure? It's a stick shift." And my dad said, "It's okay, I'll teach him." So I was really happy that he got me the car, but I was also concerned with learning how to drive it at the same time. My uncle charged my dad $300 to get that car. And at the end of its life, in my hands, he turned around and sold the car for $600. So he got his money's worth. Of course, the clutch fell through and like some other things happened. So, but you can't expect things to run forever. He sold it to the neighbor next door, but he didn't know that I guess there was problems with the car. I didn't know there was problems with the car. But all of a sudden it was done. The reason he did sell it was because I kept that car outside while I drove my dad's truck. Toyota, that's what it was, a Toyota Tacoma. Love that car. It was one of my favorite things. But that's for a different story. I really feel like driving a stick shift not only gives you the respect that you need to have for your car, but it just trains you to love the work that goes into doing something. I want to thank my dad for instilling that into me, because had I not learned to work with that, I probably wouldn't be as hard of a worker as I am today, because it just helps you, just like I keep repeating, it helps you respect the things that you work for. Things to reflect on, back then, in my little hatchback, I remember driving down a road, right? And I went down a dirt road, and I was driving 80 miles an hour down this good stretch of road. And I remember towards the end of the road, I wasn't thinking, and I did a sharp turn, you know, and all I remember is the wheels going all the way across the road. I had my friend in there too, and he was encouraging this whole thing. Go, 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 right? But I just remember screeching across the road, and there's a ditch on the other side of this road. I screeched across the road into the ditch, and then the car went leaning over, and my friend didn't do anything. He just looked at me, worried more than anything. I had to take the courage upon myself, push my hand on him, and push him against the door, so this way we would lean back over and slam against the ground. It was a fun experience, but crazy and terrifying. We could have died. But that was a good memory anyway. It was a bad memory, but it was a good memory. I drove over to his house right after, and we hung out for about an hour or two. I think we hung out for a little bit longer than that. And then I came out, and my tire was flat. So I completely ruptured my back, driver's side tire. Pretty bad, pretty bad. I also remember driving to the town, because where I lived, you have a 15-minute drive before you even reach town. I would drive 15 minutes to hang out with 3 friends, and it was really cool, but the drive there was terrible. I'd be so afraid coming to stops, so afraid to, you know, just do these long drives, because I wasn't sure the car was going to last me, or if it was going to break down, or if I was going to freak out. It was a lot to take in. But, you know, when I would get there, it would be the most amazing experience, because you don't get to hang out with friends when you're living out in the country. It's just you, basically. So that was awesome. I would pick them up and bring them back home. Good times, really good times. I had a friend at work today tell me that I need to do my laugh more on the video. They said it brings them comfort, which is nice to hear, really nice. I'd really like to hear it in the comments, because that's where I'd prefer to hear everything. But yeah, this planning is working really well. I like it a lot. Another experience that I had was when I was driving with a friend. His name was Curtis. We were driving down a long stretch of road, and me and him were just having a good conversation, talking about life, what's in the future, what's our plans, how I felt lost. He had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't. It was a terrifying experience for me. I thought I was never going to find anybody. But I'm really glad I could confide in him the thoughts I had. I'm glad I could confide in a lot of people. My close friends. Called the Brotherhood. Interesting name, but that's what we were, the Brotherhood. It was a fun time. It's a lot to reflect on with just a car, the Mazda 323. A lot of memories in that car. I never went shopping in that car, just drove around. I had my school supplies in there and my work supplies, because I would drive to work. And it was a 30-minute drive to work and a 20-minute drive in the opposite direction to go to school. So overall, if I had to go to school first and then go to work after, it'd be a 50-minute drive altogether in my little car. had a terrible radiator. It would just explode, or I had to change it out at least 2 or 3 times over the whole lifespan of the car, which wasn't very long for me. I think it was like maybe 5-6 years. A lot of problems, a lot of sadness, but at the same time, it was memories I can look on. All in all, I love the fact that I learned how to drive the stick shift, because it's something that I will never forget, you know? And then the scariest parts about driving stick shift were the stop and goes. When you were at a traffic light or the stop sign, I want to say horribly or horrendously, I would be terrified to stop at those, the stoplight, the stop signs, because no matter how many times I started off, it would always do the jump. I never got good at that for a good while. About my 5th or 6th year, it got better and easier. But yeah, my Mazda, fantastic car with so many problems. So many problems. But all my friends would ask me the same thing, because they would say, I don't want to learn and everything. But later on, they would see a car and be like, man, that's a stick shift. I can't drive it. But I'd be like, but I can. A couple of forklifts that I've drove to, they had stick shifts. So that was kind of nice. Seeing the same kind of thing over and over and over again, you get used to the same kind of feeling that a stick shift that you get. But there's so many ways to do the stick shift. I'm just really happy to say I learned. Really happy. The point of this video was to convince you to do stick shift. I really want you to learn how to do stick shift, because I think you'll love it. And if you already know how to do stick shift, I am proud of you. That's actually what I wrote down. If you know how to do stick shift, that's amazing. And it's a feeling, you know, that you probably will never forget. I learned how to drive a bike. I can't say I learned how. I rode a bike, not a pedal bike, but a motorcycle, for the first time last year with a friend. Amazing. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Alan. I really appreciate that. But I drove that bike, and maybe I'll put a clip of it in here or something. You can see it. And I didn't have, if I wouldn't have known about stick shift, I would have been frustrated with it. Our friend that was with us, Juan, he learned how to do stick shift and ride a motorcycle same day. I'm pretty sure it was really hard on him, because he was stopping and going and stopping and going. You know, it's something that I think is overall helpful and just amazing to learn. This video might be a little bit longer than usual. Maybe not. I don't know. I gotta stop talking about the video and just getting into the story. I gotta stop here.
You got to think so you can't just freak out, you know? Yeah. You're gonna get because you're just getting used to it. Because there's a lot going on. So once you like get used to it. I think you're gonna ram your own car!
Oh my gosh.
It's something that I want to teach my daughter how to do, because I think she can use it later on in the future. It's a talent that can be passed down from generation to generation, and I'm pretty proud of that, to be honest. Oh, let me go ahead and say this now. I'm already like towards the end of the video, but I'm happy to say I have finally started planning, and I'm starting to journal, so this way I can work on my writing skills. Something to work on. This video feels like it's going a lot better. I feel like I can talk more confidently about it. In conclusion, please learn how to drive a stick shift for the reasons listed here. You can go ahead and drive whatever vehicle you want. It'll help you in the workplace, like forklifts. It'll help you in your later on life. If you don't get a motorcycle now, you can get one later. It helps you there. And if you needed to drive like somebody else's car in the case of an emergency and they happen to only have a stick shift, you can do that. That's pretty amazing in my view as well. It also helps you appreciate the cars that you have. If you drive an automatic and you learn how to do a stick shift first, you really appreciate that automatic. It's nice. And then also, it helps you appreciate learning to either work on what you want. Like, it helps you learn. In my case, it was a hands-on, visual, and listening exercise. After I learned how to do it and get it down, it built that knowledge base. So I really do appreciate it. And I thank my dad. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me how to do stick shift. Because if I would have never learned, I wouldn't be the man I am today. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. For the memories, for the anger that you had, for all the times I had to drive that car, you know, I really do appreciate it. So please learn how to drive a stick shift. And thank you for driving a stick shift. Let me know what you think about this video, about your opinion on stick shifts, whether you drive one, whether you know how to drive one, whether you can drive one, or where you use it. Let me know your opinions, your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll probably link like a couple of, well, I'll obviously link my Instagram, my Twitter, and a couple other things in there in the description. But I'll probably link also like pictures or things as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being a part of this community. I really appreciate everybody here. If I can get these counts up higher, I'll be more than happy to keep making videos because I love doing this. This is amazing. It makes me feel good on the inside. And I hope it made you feel good in the inside too. I hope you can hear me, like the first videos where you couldn't hear nothing. But thank you for watching. Please like this video and please subscribe and please comment down below any of your thoughts or concerns for that matter. And let me know how I did. I want to improve this whole thing. So I hope you have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye.